50 years to run consecutive to all murder convictions at counts 1, 4, 7.
Two corrections officers are attacked. The attack left both officers bloody, one stabbed several times.
Yeah.
I was just wondering how you're going to be, at 9:30 tomorrow morning. Are you prepared?
I'm prepared.
In the depths of the world's toughest prisons, one man strikes fear into the hearts of even the most hardened criminals.
We are obviously concerned about influencing the jury. She suggests some measures which could take care of potential problems down the road.
His mere presence sends chills down the spines of inmates and guards alike. This strange figure has been caught on camera for the first time ever. In today's video, let's unveil the 10 most feared inmates across the globe. We'll explore their brutal crimes, their terrifying reputations, and the reason why they're so feared behind bars. But let me warn you, this content contains disturbing details, so I strongly advise viewer discretion. Prepare yourself for a shocking journey into the dark world of prison life. And remember, inmate number 1 will leave you absolutely amazed. Number 10. Joseph James DAngelo. Joseph James DAngelo is a name that once struck fear into the hearts of Americans. You might know him better as the Golden State Killer. This guy was like a real-life boogeyman, terrorizing people from 1974 to 86. Can you believe he broke into 120 homes and took 13 innocent lives? That's more than a decade of pure horror. He wasn't caught until 2018. For over 30 years, this guy walked free among us. The police had no clue who he was. It took some fancy new DNA evidence to finally nail him. DAngelo didn't just commit crimes, he loved to scare his victims. One woman managed to escape him, but years later she got a chilling phone call. It was him.
Hello?
Threatening to kill her. Can you imagine picking up your phone and hearing, "I'm going to kill you, I'm going to kill you"? One twist that'll make your skin crawl is that DAngelo used to be a cop. That's right, he knew all the tricks to avoid getting caught. Talk about a wolf in sheep's clothing. Finally, in August 2020, justice caught up with him. At 76 years old, DAngelo got slapped with a life sentence. He'll spend his last days behind bars. Even though he's an older man, other inmates still fear him. Why? Because they know he's a stone-cold psychopath who feels nothing for his victims. Knowing he's locked up is a relief, but it's chilling to think how long he roamed free. This story just goes to show that sometimes the scariest monsters are hiding in plain sight. While the Golden State Killer terrorized California with calculated precision, another predator was stalking victims across the country. But this time, the killer defied all expectations of what a serial murderer looked like. Number 9. Eileen Waros. Eileen Waros is one of the scariest women in history. Back in the 1970s, she did something really shocking. She killed 7 men. Can you believe it? The crazy thing is, she got away with it for a long time. Why? Because back then, people didn't think women could be serial killers. That's how she managed to keep doing it without getting caught. Eileen's method was pretty brutal. She'd shoot these guys and then dump their bodies in Florida swamps.
And probably see I'll be up in heaven while y'all are rotting in hell.
But that's not all. She'd also take their stuff and sell it in pawn shops. That's actually how she got caught in the end. The police found her fingerprints on the sold items. Now, Eileen had a really rough life. Her dad was in prison for some terrible things and ended up taking his own life there. As for Eileen, she got mixed up with drugs and even got pregnant when she was only 14. Can you imagine? Before the killings, she was into armed robbery, but then something in her just snapped and she started taking lives. When she was caught, Eileen claimed it was all self-defense, but nobody bought it. In the end, she was found guilty of all 7 murders. The court decided her crimes were so bad that she got the death penalty. In 2002, they gave her a lethal injection. It's a pretty wild story, right? Eileen Waros is still remembered as one of the most frightening women who ever lived. It just goes to show you can't judge a book by its cover. Though Waros shocked America as one of its most notorious female killers, her reign of terror would seem almost mild compared to the next inmate. Number 8. John Wayne Gacy. John Wayne Gacy. This guy was seriously bad news. Even other criminals were scared of him. Gacy had a rough start in life. His dad was mean to him, which probably messed him up pretty badly. After spending some time in jail in 1968, he started doing really awful things. From 1972 to 1978, Gacy turned into an absolute monster. He tricked young men into coming to his house, and then, well, let's just say terrible things happened. The crazy part is that everyone thought he was this nice guy who dressed up as a clown for kids' parties.
When I saw him again the following morning in the chow hall, he was a wreck.
When the police finally caught on, they dug up his yard. What they found was shocking. 26 bodies of young men he'd killed. Can you imagine? They had to use dental records and x-rays to figure out who these poor guys were. In 1980, Gacy went to trial. It was all over the news. He tried to say he had multiple personalities, like he wasn't responsible for his actions, but nobody bought it. The evidence was just too strong. In the end, they found him guilty of killing 33 people. It was a relief for the victims' families, but it left everyone in Norwood Park Township pretty shaken up. Gacy's story is a scary reminder that sometimes the most normal-looking people can hide some really dark secrets. It's the kind of thing that makes you look at your neighbors differently, you know? After John Wayne Gacy's reign of terror, another killer would emerge who turned the art of murder into a sinister game of cat and mouse. Number 7. Dennis Rader. Dennis Rader, the BTK killer, was born in Kansas back in 1945, and he had some dark thoughts from a young age. But it wasn't until 1974 that he started acting on them.
If you read much about serial killers, they go through what they call the different phases.
His first victims, the Otero family. Can you believe it? He killed all 4 of them, mom, dad, and 2 kids. It was awful, but he didn't stop there. A few months later, he went after Kathleen Bright, who was only 21. He tied her up and tried to kill her, just like the others. Over the next few years, Rader kept killing. He got Maureen Hedge and Vicky Wegerlo too. The crazy thing is that he seemed like a regular guy during the day. He was even a church president and a Cub Scout leader. As more people died, the police were under a lot of pressure to catch him. But Rader was brilliant and kept hiding for years. He loved the attention though, and that's what got him caught in the end. In 2005, he sent a floppy disk to a TV station, bragging about his crimes. Big mistake. The police traced it back to him and finally caught him. Everyone was shocked when they found out who he really was. Rader ended up being charged with 10 murders. Now he's in prison for life in Kansas. His story still scares people who remember those times. While Dennis Rader terrorized communities, a different kind of killer was stalking hospital corridors, choosing victims who couldn't cry for help. Number 6. Charles Edmund Cullen. Charles Edmund Cullen is one of the scariest killers I've ever read about. He was a nurse. Can you believe it? Someone who's supposed to help sick people, but instead he was killing them.
This monster didn't even know us or our son, but had the audacity to end his life.
For 16 whole years, Cullen worked in different hospitals in New Jersey. All the time, he was secretly killing patients. He admitted to killing 40 people, but they only proved 29 for sure. It's wild to think about, right? The police finally caught him on December 12, 2003. At first, they only knew about 1 murder and 1 attempted murder, but then Cullen started talking. He told them about killing 2 patients at Somerset Medical Center. He even hinted there might be up to 40 victims. In court, Cullen didn't seem sorry at all. He even made fun of the judge. In April 2004, he said he was guilty of 13 murders and 2 attempted murders. He killed these people by giving them deadly injections. The prosecutors made a deal with him. They said they wouldn't ask for the death penalty if he helped find more of these victims. On March 2nd, 2006, he got 11 life sentences in a row. Now he's in New Jersey State Prison in Trenton. He can't get out until he's 443 years old, which means never. It's a scary story that makes you wonder if you can really trust anyone, even people who are supposed to take care of you. As Charles Cullen's medical murders shocked the nation, another healthcare worker would soon prove that evil knows no bounds. If you're enjoying these wild stories so far, don't forget to hit that like button, drop a comment, and let us know what you think. Number 5. Lucy Letby. Lucy Letby is a nurse who turned out to be a terrible killer. She was born on January 4th, 1990, and started working as a baby nurse in 2011 at Chester Hospital. At first, everyone thought she was great at her job, but then something strange started happening. More and more babies were dying or getting very sick when Letby was around. A doctor named Ravi Jayaram noticed this and tried to tell the hospital bosses in 2015 and 2016. Sadly, they didn't listen to him. Letby's co-workers also started to see weird things. She acted mean when babies were in trouble, which made them worried. Finally, in May 2017, the police started looking into what was happening. They arrested Letby in July 2018.
The smile's gone, and she's in handcuffs a few minutes later.
Her trial began in October 2022, and it was shocking. They found notes she wrote where she said terrible things about herself. The lawyers said she hurt at least 12 babies on purpose, sometimes by putting air in their bodies. The trial went on for 10 long months. On August 18, 2023, the jury said she was guilty of 14 out of 22 charges. The judge gave her a life sentence for each one, which means she'll never get out of jail. This scary story made everyone in hospitals think hard about how to keep babies safe. It's hard to believe someone meant to help babies could do such awful things. Just when the medical community thought they'd seen the worst in Lucy Letby, a man behind bars would demonstrate that prison walls couldn't contain his capacity for violence. Number 4. Thomas Edward Silverstein. Thomas Edward Silverstein was one of the most feared prisoners in America. Born in 1952 in California, his life was tough from the start. His mom had 3 different husbands, and the last one, Sid Silverstein, adopted Thomas. As a kid, Silverstein was shy and got bullied a lot. His mom taught him to fight back, but this led down to a destructive path. At 19, he went to jail for robbery. After getting out, he quickly ended up back in prison for more robberies. In prison, Silverstein joined a dangerous gang called the Aryan Brotherhood. Things got really bad when he killed another prisoner in 1980. He was sent to a super strict prison in Illinois after that. But the violence didn't stop there. Silverstein killed more people in prison, including a guard named Merrill Kletz. This made him even more infamous and feared. Because of all of this, Silverstein spent 36 years alone in a cell. That's more than half his life. He couldn't talk to anyone or do much of anything. It's hard to imagine living like that for so long. Silverstein died in 2019 at 67 years old. He was having heart problems. His life story shows how a tough childhood and bad choices can lead to a really sad end. It's a reminder of how important it is to stay on the right path in life. While Silverstein's brutality made him feared in prison, another inmate would turn violence into a personal brand, becoming Britain's most notorious prisoner. Number 3. Charles Brunson. Charles Brunson is one of the scariest prisoners in British history. Born as Michael Peterson in 1952, he had a rough childhood that set him up for trouble later. As a young guy, Brunson loved to fight, but in 1974, he took things way too far. He tried to rob a post office with a big gun and ended up shooting at the police. Can you believe it? He hurt some cops before they caught him. In court, Brunson went wild. He yelled at everyone and even attacked the guards. People thought he was crazy, so they sent him to a special hospital called Broadmoor, but even there he kept causing problems. He hit other patients and tried to take people hostage. It was during this time that he changed his name to Charles Brunson after the famous actor. He wanted to seem more important, I guess. Brunson got moved around to different prisons because he was so hard to control. But you know what's interesting? While locked up, he got super fit and even wrote a book about working out in small spaces. One of his craziest moments was in 1998. He took 2 other prisoners hostage and demanded a helicopter to escape. Of course, it didn't work, but it shows how daring he was. Even now, Brunson is known as someone who never gives up, even if it means staying in prison forever. As Charles Brunson's fame grew behind bars, a young man in Nebraska would embark on a killing spree but would leave a community forever scared. Number 2. Nico Allen Jenkins. Nico Allen Jenkins is a really scary guy from Omaha, Nebraska. Born in 1986, he had a rough start in life and ended up in prison for carjacking when he was young. After serving 10 years, Jenkins got out on July 30th, 2013. But here's the wild part. Just 2 weeks later, he started killing people. First, he tricked 2 men, Juan and George, into meeting him. Then he shot them both in the head and stole their stuff. Can you believe it? But wait, there's more. The next day, Jenkins killed a guy named Curtis, who he knew from prison. They even took a friendly picture together before it happened. Then, in his worst crime yet, he shot a mom named Andrea with a big shotgun and left her on the road. The police caught Jenkins on August 30th, 2013, thanks to some security cameras. When they questioned him, he said some weird stuff about an ancient snake god telling him to do it. During his trial, Jenkins acted really strange. He talked in made-up languages and laughed when the victims' families were speaking. In the end, he got the death sentence. This whole thing made people wonder if prisons should do more to help inmates with mental health problems. Jenkins' story is super scary and sad, especially for all the families he hurt. While Jenkins' brutal rampage shocked Omaha, another criminal was proving that no prison could hold him, becoming America's most ingenious escape artist. Number 1. Richard Lee McNair. Richard Lee McNair was born in 1958 and became famous for breaking out of prison. It all started when he got caught in a robbery gone wrong in 1987. Instead of just doing his time, McNair decided he wanted out. His first escape was pretty clever. He used lip balm to slip out of his handcuffs. They caught him, but that didn't stop him. A few years later, he tried again. This time, he crawled through air vents like a ninja. But wait, it gets better. In 2006, McNair pulled off his most amazing escape yet. He hid in a pile of old mail bags and just walked out. The police were totally confused. Later, when a cop saw him jogging near some train tracks, McNair was so smooth. He made up a story about exercising and staying at a hotel nearby. The cop believed him. After that, McNair ran off to Canada. He was so good at hiding that he ended up on Canada's most wanted list more than once. Finally, in 2007, a sharp-eyed police officer spotted McNair's van. There was a chase and they finally caught him. Now, he's in a super strict prison called ADX Florence, where he spends almost all day alone in his cell. McNair's story is like something out of a movie, right? He sure kept the police on their toes. Well, that's a wrap. If you enjoyed this wild ride, smash that like button and subscribe for more crazy stories. Tell us in the comments which part of the video gave you chills.